What?
I'll bet you a quetzal that one of us slips off this edge before the end of the 8 weeks.
Well, I don't think it's that far.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad. And I mean, I'm just saying, like a slip, like it doesn't have to mean a fall.
I'm just more worried about like a landslide.
Yeah.
No se mira. Están pasando la gente. Nosotros estamos viendo en un momento, en una situación muy difícil. ¿Por qué? Porque hay derrumbes, hay desastres naturales, crecen ríos y siempre nos afecta. Ahora, gracias a Dios, no ha llovido tan fuerte como hace 2 años cuando pasó el huracán Agatha.
Disaster workers in Guatemala say at least a dozen people are dead. The tropical storm Agatha slammed into its Pacific coast Saturday.
Un ejemplo, si ya has construido, con tantos años de esfuerzo has construido, y viene un derrumbe, te tapa toda la casa, te quedaste en la pobreza. Cada vez cuando hay lluvia, nosotros nos da miedo vivir ahí.
We talked to some of our neighbors in Peña Blanca about the hurricane.
Como 2 años viene un huracán, se perdía todo.
¿Sí?
Ese producto se perdía. Como 8,000 quetzales perdemos.
8,000 quetzales de tu producto.
Sí, este producto.
Y entonces todo de este salió.
Salió. Y se va para todo.
Pedro's family of 8 all survives on his onion crop and the little work he can get as a day laborer. Losing 8,000 quetzales is the equivalent of $1,000. This money feeds Pedro's entire family for half the year and allows him to invest in another season of crops. If you lost everything, how could you afford to start over? Sometimes a government program can provide disaster relief after a big event like a tropical storm or hurricane. This emergency aid is different from development aid because its goal is to alleviate short-term crises with supplies like food, medical care, and temporary shelter. This disaster relief can be vital for a family's immediate survival. There will be months of costs and extra labor to grow a new crop. What help can a farmer get to cover this investment?
¿Qué hiciste cuando perdiste todo este?
Nosotros perdemos, pero prestamos un préstamo de echar un poco de otra vez la semilla.
Even though access to credit is really difficult for the extreme poor, some, like Pedro, are able to secure a loan from a traditional bank. Pedro can now invest in seeds and fertilizer to plant new crops. Without many other assets, though, Pedro must put his land as collateral against the loan. If he is unable to pay the loan back on time, he could lose the very land where he has invested everything. Since the Spanish conquest of Guatemala in the 1500s, many indigenous farmers have had to sell after a bad year or have been evicted from their farmsteads. Today, Guatemala has one of the most unequal land distributions in the world. Nearly 70% of the entire country's productive farmland is owned by only 2% of the population. These wealthy landowners and large plantations do not grow the corn and beans that people in Guatemala need to survive. Instead, they use the best land for cash crops like sugar, coffee, and biofuel, which are shipped off for export around the world. Guatemala is then forced to import basic commodities, which drives up the price for families who can no longer grow these things for themselves. Land distribution has remained skewed because few indigenous farmers have legal documentation of their property rights. The cast-off land left to family farms is often on steep hillsides or places with poor soil conditions. How could land distribution become more equal and respect the rights of these indigenous farmers? After losing everything, Pedro's family is just happy to have a successful crop of onions this year. Muchísimas gracias. Mira. Oh, nice. Look, Pedro just gave us a gift of cebollitas. He's honored to share them with us and share what he grew himself. Adiós.
La mañana.
Truck check, mañana.